Hey y'all, I'm Shayna and I'm back with another review. This is for Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7 Reunion Part 2. Y'all, we are almost at the finish line, but there was a lot to unpack here, so buckle your seatbelts, get on this ride, like watch to the end, because I got a lot to say from start to finish on this. If you've been here before and you haven't yet subscribed, like what are we doing? It's free. Like help a sister out and hit the subscribe button. It will help me out a ton. So just do something nice for somebody today, okay? If you enjoyed the video and you're new here, don't hesitate to subscribe at the end and be sure to like the video and comment. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. We pick up where we left off last week with Candace telling Giselle she was using Chris for a storyline instead of her uterus. Candace said, we're waiting to hear what exactly he did to you because you're saying he made you feel uncomfortable, but what did he do exactly to make you feel this way? Giselle keeps saying like, okay, because she's like, what did he do? He made me uncomfortable. Basically nothing. Andy asks, were you uncomfortable just being around him or uncomfortable because he actually did something? She like, this is semantics and this and that. Girl, she already admitted on the show that he didn't do anything inappropriate. So I feel like at this point we're trying to get her to admit that he didn't do a damn thing. But it's just getting like she's not going to. So Giselle said Candace is blowing us out of proportion. No, she's not blowing us out of proportion. You had a hefty allegation on her husband, who we saw did nothing wrong. I'm just as furious as Candace is. I mean, if we're just gonna be honest. So Mia tries to chime in, and Candace tells her to shut up. Okay, yeah, Mia, shut up, because this lady just accused you of embezzlement like 2 seconds ago, and here you are jumping in to defend her. Why? For what? So we move on to Evil Eyebrows, aka Deborah, aka Deborah, Ashley's friend. And I was like, they better not bring her out on this show because she up there hollering something about she will be vindicated. Where, how, why? Girl, your 5 minutes quickly is up. Okay. So Ashley attempts to defend her friend, saying, obviously what they showed is different from what she said. She said that because she wanted to be on the show. That's neither here nor there. This is a scheme and plot y'all came up with together, probably with the help of Giselle. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. She said Deborah blamed it on editing. They always do. So then we touched on her Happy Eddie comments. And even Andy said that was a reach. Okay? And Wendy said the women aren't used to being around, decent men. They're not used to being men being just nice and just chivalrous and just polite gentlemen. And, the husbands can't even they can't even attempt to be polite at this point. Because if they try to be just kind or just a nice person, just a nice, good human, y'all gonna start accusing them of stuff. And he was like, okay, and quickly speed it on. Like, just move past it so swiftly. We should have, Andy, you're a man. So you should have touched on this a little longer and defended the men a little bit. This is getting out of control. We can't just keep making up stuff for the sake of just having a storyline. So we talk about Robin pulling out that baby speaker in Miami to expose Candace. Andy said in that same video, Candace said a lot of nice things about Robin and her business. Robin said she didn't watch the full video, only a clip. Well, then you shouldn't have spoke on something without knowing what was said in its entirety. You took a clip and ran with it. You didn't want to hear nothing else because you wanted to have a moment. But okay. So after Robin admitted to only hearing bits and pieces, Candace said Robin could have came to her and asked her about it. Well, Candace, what you need to get, and I don't know why it's not clicking, is that Robin is not your friend. She's not your friend. Robin said, when we're filming, everything we do should be on camera. Well, that didn't age well, did it? We see a clip of Robin on Watch What Happens Live saying, like, what I have going on in my household got to do with Candace and Chris? Well, it has a lot to do with it. When you talk about everything we do should be filmed, but everything you doing ain't being filmed. Robin can go at this point. So a fan asks Candace why she looks up to Robin the most and, why she doesn't have these same sentiments about Wendy. Robin should be looking up to Candace, if anything, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. So Candace claims it's because she's known Robin longer. Listen, the length of a friendship don't equal the strength of a friendship. Just because you've known her longer, first of all, can we? Y'all ain't friends. Candace is friends with Robin, but Robin's not friends with Candace. Her only friend is Giselle. But just because you've known her longer doesn't mean anything. Wendy's the only one that has your back each and every time and don't be switching up on you. Wendy said at the Miami dinner, 2 seconds after Candace said Robin is the most loyal to her, Robin pulled up that speaker and Wendy felt away. And I understand because, girl, what? Everybody was confused. It's giving confusion. Giselle sitting up there twisting up her face and her neck. Girl, moving on. It's time for lunch, and we see most of the husbands arrive, and they gossiping with their husbands, and I'm ready for the husbands to come out right now. But we got to get into Giselle's package, or lack thereof. Robin explains that their podcast is doing well, and that they've never even listened to a podcast prior to starting one. Then why'd you start one? Whose idea? What made you start it then if you've never even listened to a single podcast? And Wendy was like, well, that wasn't a good idea. And Robin was like, well, I mean, it's doing well, so don't hate. I don't think it's don't hate, but you should, if you're wanting to do something, you should, do a little research and listen to some podcasts and dig into it a little bit. Y'all, if y'all weren't on this show, trust me, that boring, sleepy podcast would not be where it's at. So, we touch on Karen stealing everyone's ideas. She didn't clear up nothing. She didn't clear up nothing at all. Karen, Grand Dame, you be taking people's ideas now. That's my opinion. Karen explains that her version of the Beehive, aka the Ladames, are her fans who stand up for her. Andy asks, well, what would the Robins be called if Robin had, a clique or a group, a fan base? She said the Boring. Oh, the Boring. So she said boring, but I'm going to just throw in the Borings because it got to be like the Beehive, the Navy, the Barbs, the Borings. Okay. That was funny. So we touched on Giselle's hysterectomy, and even though she didn't share but about 2 minutes of it on the show, she didn't say much. She said a lot of women reached out to her about it. And Candace made a comment that I'm sure most of us will agree with. That was the most real she's been on the show in 7 seasons. And the most she said was something about it in a car ride and barely talked about it with her girls. So Andy asked Giselle how her kids handled the surgery. And she said, we'll talk about it later. Andy said, no, we're going to talk about it right now. Daddy Andy is in full effect with her kids and her. Listen, you don't tell your boss, no, we're going to talk about it later. And we're at the reunion. When is later going to be? No, we're going to talk about it right. Y'all ain't going to call each other up later on. You going to talk about it right here, right now. You ain't talked about nothing else. They had to scrounge around and force a package together for you. So Giselle said it was supposed to take 3 hours, supposed to be an outpatient surgery. It took 8. She ended up staying there overnight. She had an issue with her bladder. Her sister was in contact with them, and she stopped getting updates. It scared her kids. And everybody said, sister? What? I mean, it's one thing to not, tell everything, but not mere mention of a sister until now? Okay. Andy addressed her not sharing her personal business in 7 seasons, but always be up in everybody else's business. She claims she does share her business, and if production chooses not to show it, then, I mean, that's on them. How they ain't shown nothing about you in 7 seasons, and you still on the show? How? She says she won't talk about her health issues or whatever, her business in front of people she don't like, and then points to Wendy. And then you wonder why people be saying, okay, we're going to get there. We're going to get to what people be saying. Mostly everyone agreed that she basically bullies people for answers. Even Mia, the same one who was just defending her 5 seconds ago. Andy asked about Steve, who we saw on the show, and she ain't like that man. She ain't like that man. Then he asked about her little boy toy from the summer house, and Robin confirmed there's a 16-year age difference. And Giselle said her girls met him. Andy said, well, if y'all still together next season, are we going to see him on the show? She said, sure. No. And Andy, you know the answer is no. I know you're trying to push this summer house show. Just drop it. If you can drop Candy and the Gang, which was a good show, and keep on this nonsense, summer house, whatever this is, Listen, bring back Candy in the game. Let go of Summer House because we don't want to see it. On to Wendy's segment. She's working on her health. Mia said Peter is G's friend. And Andy was like, oh, that's all. Didn't y'all sleep with his girlfriend? She up here, you trying to get. What are you talking about? Well, that's not his girlfriend right now. Now this is getting into semantics. It's not his girlfriend anymore, and it wasn't his girlfriend at the time. And it don't matter. Was you sleeping with her or not? Okay. So we discuss Mia throwing the drink on Wendy. Mia doesn't take any accountability as to be expected. That is why I did not care for her fake apology that she put on Instagram a few months when we was all watching it happen on our TV screens. Wendy said, you assaulted me, and it's F you forever. You got an issue with me, you got an issue forever. Shout out to Cardi B. Mia claims Wendy slept with Peter. I'm going to say this again. Mia claims Wendy slept with Peter. Girl, stop. Like, girl, you lie so much. It don't even make no sense, these lies that be coming out of your mouth. Like, Wendy's husband is Eddie, and we supposed to believe that she slept with Peter? Talking about she slept with him for some lobster and whatever. Wendy probably got more money than Peter. Girl, cut it out. Mia claims Wendy gave Peter the cookie over a lobster dinner, not for the lobster feast. Robin claims she didn't want Wendy to fight, but she won't take any accountability for her, calling her an antagonist and talking about, well, if you ain't gonna fight, then shut up then and all that. Ooh, I'm like, I don't see what y'all ever saw in Robin. I don't see it. I don't feel her. Robin said she and Wendy weren't friends, and, Karen should have been the one to defuse the situation. And Karen said, now how I get in it? Shout out to Nene Leakes. Now how I get in it? What? She said, you gonna keep my name out. I ain't had nothing to do with this. Just because you aren't friends doesn't make it right. It's wrong. Wrong is wrong. It don't matter if you're friends or not. You should be on the side of right. Which is also childish. Anyway. And Karen could have said something. But I would have rather Robin sat there and just watched like Giselle did and doing what she did. Robin won't admit that she's aggressive. She's aggressive. And I don't like using that term on black women. But within I ain't watching it in a while, but I thought a couple seasons it came out that Robin wasn't even a black woman. Anyway. So, we talking about how Robin was aggressive when she was walking towards Wendy at the dance studio and Sharice had to hold her back. Wendy said, listen, because she like, I that don't mean nothing just because I got up. When we arguing and I'm sitting, you ain't about to stand up over top of me and be walking towards me. You will not be doing that. I don't care if I'm 90 years old. You ain't going to do it. So Wendy said, I don't know where y'all from, but if we arguing and you stand up, you walk towards me, that means anything can happen. Even Andy was like, look, if you would have stood up and started walking towards Wendy right now in the heat of an argument, I would have held you back. So what are you saying here? And again, this is why them allegations out there on y'all. People feel that there's colorism going on because Robin has a history of being aggressive. Okay. Mia assaulted Wendy. Okay. Yeah, y'all sitting here placing blame on Wendy like it's her fault. Cut it out. So Ashley was accused of flip-flopping, her stance on violence from the Candace and Monique situation to the Mia and Wendy situation. And Candace wasn't feeling it. But Ashley said no one held Mia's feet to the fire or came to Wendy's defense. That is true. That's true. That is true. Andy called Giselle a hypocrite for defending Mia after she attacked Wendy with a drink and her purse. Giselle said, that's completely different. Candace got beat up. Like, she got hands and feet put on her. And Wendy got a drink toss. Mia also hit Wendy with her purse so hard that she broke off her own nails. Her own hands was bloody because of her doing. So, you got to hit somebody real hard with a bag to be breaking your own nails. Anyway, Andy said, okay, you felt the way around Chris, right? You want us to have empathy and sympathy because you just felt away. He didn't even do nothing. You just felt away. But when Wendy says she feels away, you don't want to hear it. And then here goes Giselle talking about she yelled, I don't like her. I don't like her. Grow. This is a 52-year-old woman with daughters, old enough to watch the show. Giselle is disgusting. Wendy did nothing to deserve that, okay? Wendy ends up in tears. They bullying her at this point, and they really trying to like bully her up off the show. They want her to quit. Wendy said she only came to Mia's room in Mexico so they could move forward as a group. But, you know, she said she ain't never gonna fool with her ever. Giselle said, but weren't y'all kissing? Wendy blamed it on the alcohol, but I wish she never like extended an apology or any type of understanding or accepted her apology or nothing. She threw a martini in your eyes, and I know it had to sting and burn with that lash glue. Unacceptable. You ain't gonna just disrespect me. That's just as bad as like spitting on somebody. So we get to the colorism issue. I didn't think this was gonna be addressed, and at this point, the way it was addressed, I kind of wish it wasn't, because this didn't do no justice at all. It was just a time filler. So, colorism has been an ongoing issue with this franchise. It was poorly addressed in this segment, like I said. Andy feels like because he's a Caucasian man, he's not the right person to be speaking on this. And the ladies agreed to speak on this amongst themselves without a moderator. Bring back Nicki Minaj. She would have got it together. She wouldn't be, because we get into the meat and potatoes or something, and he just moved right on. Like, if nothing else, she would have stayed in a little bit. We're going to get these answers. So, Candace, who said there's no colorism within the group, is leading the conversation. Please make it make sense. The math is not mathing. I need some understanding, because if you don't think there's any colorism in the group, why are you leading anything? She gives a definition of colorism. Everyone agrees on it. Well, you can't disagree. The definition is the definition. And then she gives an example of colorism within the same group, where she said the women are not colorists. Make it make sense. Girl. So, Candace says that when she's emotional, she's called names like crybaby and etc. But when Robin's in somebody's face, she don't get that same backlash. Giselle said, what does you being emotional have to do with the color of your skin? Wendy defended Candace. She's like, no, because Candace like, am I not making sense? And Wendy was like, no, I see what you're saying. No, I hear you, girl. But Robin the most loyal. Child, please. While Robin trying to excuse away, talking about, well, I got called mean girl. It ain't the same. Giselle will continue to act oblivious so she can continue to be exactly the way she is. That's just who she is. I mean, that's just how she is. So Karen breaks down what we already know about colorism and how it dates back to slavery and things of that nature. And, her family, she owns a plantation that her ancestors was on and all that stuff. So she's trying to give examples and really break it down in layman's term and act like she's talking to a small child. Giselle, no, okay? But she's not going to stop. So there's that. Ashley acknowledges, because first she was like, well, okay, but that's not true. I've had issues with everybody in the group. But every outcome ain't the same. But Ashley does acknowledge that she gets preferential treatment. She has privilege for being lighter skinned, having a lighter skin tone. But stand on that then. Just say, like, I don't like no backhanded stuff. Like, well, I had issues with everybody. No. If you're going to say, I have privilege being a light-skinned woman, she's a biracial woman. So she has privilege that Wendy and Candace may not have. Stand on that, and that's it. That's all. This ain't no, well, Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter type of situation, if you know what I mean. So, everyone, like I said, everybody, they probably had an issue, but when Giselle and Karen got an issue, it's over real quick. Wendy and Giselle had an issue that Giselle started, and Giselle is acting like she's like the worst thing on the planet, and she cannot move past it. And that is the difference. They are bullying the brown-skinned girls, Candace and Wendy. So they were like, oh, Candace, like, I'm so happy Ashley said that she gets privilege, and it just brings happy tears, and everybody's like, oh my, I'm so relieved. Well, now we can just move on. Meanwhile, Robin nor Giselle took any type of responsibility for the part they may have played in this, because really they the main two that's having these accusations put upon them. But whatever, we move on, because then when we moving on, ain't talking about, ooh, that was good. That was, y'all really thought y'all did something. Y'all thought y'all did a thing. Ooh, that was good. Ooh, we did something with that. Y'all ain't did nothing with that. Nothing at all, but get the people annoyed and upset. But Jacqueline comes out. See, that Jacqueline is what Deborah wish she was. A friend to the show. But that's the last time I'm going to mention her name. I just want to put it out there because she got it in her bio. And I just think it's weird. Anywho, Jacqueline comes out and says, and we're reminded that she and Mia has a 30-year friendship. They keep saying they met at 15, right? But Mia claims to be 38. I just had to do a little math. I ain't no mathematician like Giselle said. I don't know. But I'm just saying the math ain't math. And with Mia and her lies. It's just, anyway. Jackie feels Mia treated her like a peasant. And she did. Andy asked Mia if she felt less than growing up with Mia and her family. And that's why she's treating... no. He asked Mia if she felt less than growing up with Jackie's family. And that's why she's treating Jackie this way. Mia said no. Jackie's parents treated her like one of their own. Like everybody loved and embraced her. But she just had a lot of personal things going on. And she felt overwhelmed by the amount of help that Jackie needed when she got on the show. She couldn't find no babysitter, this and that. And Andy asked, like, are you still close to her family now? She's like, well, it's strange now. Obviously, because we might have embraced you like you was one of our own. But Jackie is our own. And just off the side of right, the way she treated her was just wrong. But Jackie was like, let's be clear. My sister was my nanny first, and I was helping you out. But you want to make it seem like you was always just doing something for me. Girl, go on. Jackie said Mia is unhinged, texting her group saying her house is in foreclosure and she's on food stamps. And then she was. If y'all was ever friends at any point, that was not cute to be thrown out there. Like that was just lame, whack, corny, and anything else you can think of. Jackie, well, she said it was in response to something. We didn't see what it was in response to, but Jackie thinks Mia has the audacity because, honey, your family business is in shambles. So you got a nerve to be talking about me being on food stamps when it look like you need some yourself. Because how far does this Bravo check go? And will she be back next year? She probably will. That's what Wendy get for sitting up here hugging it out with her. Now they ain't gonna think it's that serious and they gonna keep her on the show. They might let Wendy go first before Mia, and that's just, I don't even believe it. But they both proceed to pull out receipts. Monique, started something with that binder girl. Everybody pulling out folders and binders and books and bedazzled stuff. They got all types of receipts coming from left to right. But it's really sad. It really is sad. They let a TV show ruin their 30-year or however long it really was friendship. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Again, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so I can keep going with my channel. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.